Hello everyone, I'm Nnena.
And I'm Ngozi.
And welcome back to
Ejima.
So in today's video, we are going to be talking about, is your location keeping you single? If you're interested, stay tuned.
Right.
Before we get back into the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, all of it,
Share it. It helps our channel. Subscribe. Don't be scared. It's free. You don't pay for it. Subscribe to our channel and leave us a comment below. So this topic came because I actually joined a Clubhouse group a couple of weeks ago. Very interesting, random. I just saw it and it was actually really good. And it was titled, "Is Your Location Keeping You Single?"
Oh,
And yeah, so I'm just like, it was really at the top. The title really just came at me because I talk about this with my sister all the time, my cousins, even my mother. My mother will argue, no, it doesn't matter where you are, it's your personality. And I even used to ask my friends in like school, like, what you think is more important, your location, your personality, or your friend circle, in terms of, having a good social life. And, we'll all say different things. Some people say, I think it's your personality. Some people say, I think it's your location. I think it's your friend circle. And I would say, I think it's equally each, like 33% each thing. And they all equally work together. Maybe a little more, like 35% being your personality. Even more than that, I think number one is your personality. Because even if you are in a dry place and you don't really have friends like that, if you have a certain personality, you're very social, you're very mixy, you're very bubbly, you will still go out. You will meet people wherever you do go, even though it may be harder to meet certain people because you're just that lit, because you're friendly, because you're really just that type of person. Let me know how you guys feel in the comment section. So basically, in the Clubhouse group, they were talking about certain locations, particular to Black women. It was like curated like by like a group, and it was like it was Black men and women. And they were talking about areas that they think are more or less favorable for Black women. And they were talking about California as a whole, especially LA, San Francisco being very competitive. They said Dallas is very competitive. They also mentioned, was it Atlanta? I can't remember the other area, but they were really emphasizing the whole the LA, California, and Dallas as being very competitive, being a lot of beautiful women, being a lot of successful men that have really good jobs, things of that nature. So I asked Nnena about it. How do you feel about that? Do you think that your location, being that especially you're in a new location now, you're in Charlotte, do you think that there's some truth to that statement? Like your location being related to your relationship status?
I don't know. I've said it before in the channel. I feel like people are everywhere, and I think that there's people everywhere you go. Every location has a different culture and a different a different vibe, a different some places, cities are known to be like fast life. People don't really settle down, just want to have fun. Versus more like slow paced areas, are known or like places like in the Midwest, you usually tend to have like higher marriage rates, or places where people are more into like settling down and having a family even if they're not married. So I would say yes and no, because no, I feel like it's a weird question, because with location, people emphasize on location, but people in that location are still single. Mm-hmm. People in that location that people are always hyping up are still looking for someone to get settled down to. So I feel like before location comes down to like your mindset, like personally, and I definitely think like your friend circle, because I always tell my sister, I'm like, if you want to move to where you know people, period. And I always keep bringing down, like, if you want to be cute and move to Hawaii, that's your business. But end of the day, for you to go out and meet people and mingle, you kind of need to have friends to go out with, because most people are not going to be comfortable going out by themselves. So if you want to go out and socialize, it makes it easier when you already have friends. But you could go out by yourself. The issue is that even if you're going out by yourself, are you going to intimate settings? Because there's certain places that going by yourself, it's going to be awkward. Like the club, we're not even trying to go to the club, but just period. Like there's certain places that you're not gonna want to go by yourself. There's certain things you're not gonna want to do by yourself. You're gonna need friends to do it. And period, when you have friends, most likely you'd be interacting in more intimate settings, because you're going to hang out with these friends and maybe their birthday parties or their housewarmings. Exactly. But just going out randomly nowadays, I just feel like going out can be overrated. Like you go out, people don't say anything. They just stare at you and keep it moving. I feel like it is hard to meet people just going out randomly in places these days. Like things are just not
online dating is
right. That's why online dating has become so big, because nowadays you go out, people just look at you.
Like
they just stare at you. Yeah, so I don't think that
because you're not smiling.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe I'm not smiling. So I think location can be a part. If you're in a place where people go out more and people are nicer, maybe people are friendlier, you'll see more people come up and talk to you. You know, I don't know, but at least from my experience, like recently, let's say if I want to compare like New Jersey to Charlotte, I don't feel as if me and Charlotte, like my location is better than here.
Yeah.
Like as far as dating, I don't really think so. I feel like it's kind of similar everywhere you go. It's just people are just people.
Right, but in terms of talking about your location, you said that the culture does change based on where you are, right? So the culture in New York City is going to be different than the culture in Oklahoma City. It's going to be different from the culture in, you know, Montgomery, Alabama. You know what I mean? So it's like that's where I think that the point is being made, is that yeah, people are for the most part similar where you go, but the mentality, like you emphasize, the culture is different in different parts of the world, different parts of America, different cities, different towns. So if you're going to an area, let's say you throw out Atlanta, that has like, you know, how many women to men, and you know there's so many things to do, and it's so lit, and it's so turned, and you know people are always out, versus you going to like maybe more of a suburban part of Atlanta, like going to Savannah or something, you know, somewhere a couple hours from Atlanta. The culture is different. The mind doesn't. I don't have.
Yeah,
statistics.
but have you seen stats that tell
I don't
more
have
people in
statistics.
Savannah are married than people in Atlanta?
Because it seems like Atlanta still has a lot of, you know, people still do well there, you know, despite all of that. So, you know, I think it depends. But the bigger point I'm coming at is that based on, you know, the conversation going in that conversation going on in that group was that one of them was like a coach, like a dating coach, or you know, everyone is something on these things, like a dating guru or a match specialist. So basically she was naming a lot of interesting towns. Like she was naming like based on people's personalities, you know, like how you look, the type of guys you're looking for. She was naming some towns. Like wow, like I never even thought about this place before. Because you know, I think a lot of people when they think about location, you think about just the very big metropolitan places, like you know, New York City, Houston, LA. Like you know, you forget exactly Atlanta. You forget that there's so many metropolitan cities in America. You know, they may not be as big as, she named one place like Cincinnati. I'm like, Cincinnati, Ohio, like wow, that would never even come to my mind. But you know, she was talking about like a growing population. And then they also had mentioned Austin, because I had like went on the stage and we were talking or whatever, and it was like it was so funny because I mentioned like, you know, we made a YouTube video about it, and a lot of people were in the comments when I'll link up that video, top 5 cities for single black women. A lot of people were like, Austin, no, oh my gosh, no, they don't even look at you, it's so bad, blah blah blah, you know. And I had mentioned that like I'm interested that you would have said Austin, that you would have Austin on that list, and then someone had responded, they think that that's very they think that that's a little biased. It's maybe depending on the experiences that certain people had who were living there, because they feel as if it's a lot of because you know Austin is becoming like a tech hub or whatever, and there's a lot of people there. Their argument was that they feel as if the type of men there are just probably not the men that the women, like they're not these out there, you know, like when you think of someone like Atlanta, you think of guys who are like out there,
alpha male.
Yeah, like out there, who are like flashy, who you know are into that type of life. But like the girl was the type of guy she was running into were like kind of geeky. Like there were more like these nerdy guys, you know, and they're like, you know, like, so if you're not really into that nerdy type, then she could understand why someone would say like, yeah, it's not it, because those are the type of guys that she was coming across. But I just think it just depends. People are different. People are looking for different things, right? People have different perspectives. So what can work for A may not work for B. What will work for B may not work for C. But I definitely think, me and Mother was even talking about this a couple of days ago.
I think your location
can keep you single. I definitely think so, because certain locations going out is easier. Meeting people is easier. If you live somewhere where you have to drive an hour to go to the city center, like, not to say people are not everywhere, but it's like, it's different, you know, versus you being somewhere you could just go walk outside and go and just see people around your age too, because you could live in an area that's not like the boondocks, but it's like, are you around people who are single? Are you around people who are young? Right. Like, are you in that environment? Like, you know, like it's different. Like it definitely is different, because if you're not even seeing, you're not even seeing these people, you're not even an option. Like, you're not even interacting with those type of, you know. And I think that, not to say it's necessarily means that you're not gonna meet anyone, but it just makes it harder. So you're thinking about in places, location-wise, where it would just be easier for you to just go out and be around people your age, to see certain people that you may want to see, to interact with certain places, interact with certain circles that you would want to interact with. I feel like you can't take away the importance of location. Like, I think it definitely is there. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's not the means because I move here, I'm going to have this experience. Or if I move here, I'm never going to be single. I think that that's the point that you had mentioned like one of the girls is kind of getting annoyed that everyone thinks they're gonna move to Texas and just get married.
Right.
Like they just said, my friend,
single women
she
in
probably watches
Texas.
this too. She always just say that y'all make it seem like it's so simple. All my cousins, the people I know here are single.
In Houston, they're all single.
They're all looking for someone, you know. So if it was that simple, like we would all be married, you know. So I feel like sometimes you come with this mentality, like, I'm just gonna go move and go to this far place, and it's just gonna be gone. Woo! Sometimes we have to think about maybe
I'm doing something.
Yeah,
wrong.
like maybe I'm not putting in that effort. I'm not putting myself around the right people. I'm not putting in that energy. I'm not putting in that time. I'm not putting in that effort to meet the type of people I want to meet. Right, but let us know, is your location keeping you single? Do you agree with this concept? Let us know where you live, where you're commenting from, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.